You're retired or getting close. You're from a northern state and tired of the cold weather and shoveling snow. You want warm weather year bound. If you're retired and getting close, the state that you're in is probably taxing the shit out of your pension. You're curious about Florida. You've heard about different things from different people about Florida, and you're considering on relocating here. I say here because that's where I'm from. This is my thoughts on Florida and what I experienced. I also have some real numbers to back up what I'm talking about. So let's get on with this little journey of are we going to Florida? You've heard some good things and probably some bad stuff. You just don't know what the real story is. And you're considering moving here because you heard that the taxes are lower, the cost of living is cheaper, the warm weather, you're thinking maybe it's 365 days a year, and a lot of your friends and coworkers have talked about it. I got some things for you to consider. And I'm not trying to botch this yet or botch it at all. So here we go. Yes, there is no tax on pensions, but the cost of living is a lot higher. Some stats from you from the state of Florida. Um, I checked to see where we fall as far as the rest of the nation goes, and we are 1 to 3% higher, depending on the area that you're in. Utility costs are high as well, and that also depends on the area that you're in. Uh, Medium house prices range from $360,000 to $399,000. But the weird part is that the rents are cheap. I took a look. I'm trying to get my kids to move down here, and I took a look to see what a three-bedroom house would cost, and it amazed me because a good size three bedroom, let's say 1,400 to 1,500 square feet, averages between $1,200 and $1,800. Where I'm from in Connecticut, and the average cost is anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500. So kind of numbers are not the same. It's kind of weird how the home prices are more money, but the rent's cheaper. An example, my girlfriend that I'm living with now, she paid $190,000 for this home. She lives in a three-bedroom, I guess they call it a flat. It's a condominium. She paid 190,000 10 years ago, and now the thing is worth just above 400K. It's Florida. I would have never thought. My sister tried to get me back to move down here. It was 30 years ago or so, and she was renting a three-bedroom home. I think it cost her $400 a month. 30 years ago was a lot different than what it is obviously now, but in retrospect, probably should have did it then. Uh, Fuel prices. Fuel prices are kind of crazy around here in Florida. They are definitely lower than the Northeast. That's where I'm from, and probably the northern parts of the states. Um, but if I have to give it a number, I'm going to say it ranges about 10 or 12 cents cheaper than the national average. Um, I've seen gas prices at $2.39 here, and I've also seen them at 3.10. I mean, that's for regular. It all depends on the time of year, where you are, etc., etc. So it's a little bit cheaper. Grocery prices, holy bejesus. There's a Where I was from. There was a called a Stop and Shop. You got Stop and Shop, all bounds up northeast. Here, there is what they call the Publix, and I'm like a creature of nature. I buy the same things over and over again. And I remember what the prices were when I was in Connecticut, and compared to Publix, some of this stuff is off the chain. I mean, you're talking 10 to 20% more. And I don't understand why, because the fuel costs are a little bit cheaper here. I know some areas of the state it is a little bit different, but overall, everywhere I've gone, I've been to Fort Myers, I've been to Davenport, Orlando, it's all the same. They're just more. And just keep that, you know, FYI. The weather. The weather's the good part. I like to talk about the weather here in Florida. That is one of the most. That's my favorite. I mean, the wintertime here is like paradise. The average temperature is between 65 and 75 degrees or so. Winter is like, let's say, they really don't have a fall here. I would say like from September to January, February. And don't get me wrong, there are parts of the state that have gotten snow, and it's very rare. Um, we do get cold at night. A couple weeks ago, we had a cold front come through here, and the temperatures were like down in the 30s with a wind chill factor of 20. I actually had to wrap the pipes because all the pipes that come into these places in Florida are all on the outside, and I had to wrap them with foam so they wouldn't freeze over. Um, but yeah, September to like February and March is like incredible here. If you could deal with the once in a while cold snaps, um, it's like paradise. It's like being here in Florida is like being on vacation all the time. It's great. Um, their fall is kind of weird. I had this conversation with my girlfriend Angela the other day. I mean, the leaves are dropping. We're in February, and up north they drop like October, November. Here it's February, and then after they drop in February, March, then the stuff starts blooming again. That's their spring. But the weather here is incredible. The summertime, though, from let's say June, July, August, it's hell. It's like being up north in the winter. Um, it's freezing up there, but here it's like holy shit. Sorry about the dogs, but it gets extremely warm and it gets extremely humid. So a lot of times, especially if you're an older person, you're going to need air conditioning. You're going to need to stay inside on those really hot days. And it's the same thing. Like if you're up north, if the temperature was really cold, you'd be inside with the heat. So all things being equal, I'd rather take Florida. I deal with the hot once in a while, you know, and the cold nights once in a while. I just love Florida. I love their seasons. All right, let's get into some financial stuff. The jobs around here. There are tons of jobs. I live in Clearwater, which is the west coast, midway down. It's called Pinellas County. And I did some homework. I Googled it, but I also talked to people on the outside. I've talked to workers and stuff like that, construction workers. Um, According to Google and Florida's website, the median wages are between 45 to $64,000 a year. Florida ranks 19th to 32nd on the wage bar. I'll give you an example. My girlfriend's nephew's wife, her name is Megan. She is a school teacher. She spent a lot of time getting that degree. And I don't know if you know any school teachers, but they put up with a lot of BS. And I don't know exactly what her wages are, but I'm thinking it's around 60. Now, if you were in the northern states or like Connecticut or something like that, it'd be upwards of over 100. And that's where it should be here. So I don't understand that. Construction workers up north, you're talking 25, $30 an hour. Down here, they start you at 12 and work you up to 18. There's definitely a lower wage down here. So you got to consider that if you're a younger couple coming down here and you want to try and find a job, I would do my homework. I mean, if you have like a degree in something or you work for like a computer company or something like that, you're probably going to make more money. But just take that into consideration. Um, as far as being self-employed or being like a contractor or something like that, like um, doing remodeling and stuff like that, I'm gonna say um, not good. I'm gonna say it's terrible as far as what you get for wages and what you get as an owner of a construction company. I was talking to a bunch of people, as I always do, because I'm very curious and I ask questions. And I was talking to some contractors and I asked what they pay their guys, with the painters and stuff like that. And the same thing, it's like 15, and their top guy, maybe the foreman guy, is getting $18 an hour. Again, up north, it's a different ball game, but I also understand that up north is more expensive. But their wages in Florida should really come up to what the cost of living is here. And I talked to some contractors, and they're ready to go out of business. I mean, people, not all areas of Florida, but in some areas, you get a lot of what they call transient people. And if you don't do your due diligence and get half down, you got to chase some of these people. And that's a problem with a lot of the guys that I've talked to. I also talked to a guy who does tile work. He came up from New Jersey, and he literally went out of business when he came up here. He was up here for 6 months, and he lost his freaking shorts. You know, a lot of the jobs he was doing, he had to go in after people to fix the mess they made, and then these people just did not want to pay, and I don't get it. I'm not saying it's everywhere in Florida, like Naples or Boca Raton. I mean, if you go to these kind of cities and towns, or whatever, you can make the money here, there. But when you're in the smaller area like Clearwater, there's Tarpon. There's a bunch of areas here that they don't pay very well. Nice areas, but they don't pay very well. So I got some more stats for you if you're interested in coming up here. And I had to learn this. Obviously, when you want to transfer your registration, and it's a little expensive compared to, I keep going back to Connecticut because that's where I'm from. But when you come here to do like change your plates over, as of as of today, to get new plates for a registration on a new car, it's going to cost you $225. And depending on the town that you're in or the city, there might be some other tax that goes with that. I'm not really sure, but I remember when I was getting my plates, it was 225 plus another 30 for some city tax or borough. I don't know the exacts, but basically it's $225 plus whatever. And then you have the sales tax on top of that, which is 6%. I ended up walking out of there. I think I spent $320 to get one license plate. They're good for 1 to 2 years. You have a choice. I took the 2-year plan. I don't know exactly how much the 1 year is going to be, and I didn't do enough homework to see what the renewals are. I'm sure it's a lot cheaper. You want to transfer your driver's license over. That day was one of those best days that I ever had. I don't know about you, but I'm going back to Connecticut again. You were going to a motor vehicle in Connecticut, and it would be like they're gods. You have to, yes sir, no sir. The difference is night and day. Um, I went in there, and I literally was in and out in, I'm going to say 30 minutes. And the people behind the counters, holy cow, so nice. They even give you a card to fill out for a survey, which I actually did because they care about their customer service. It's a different world down here. I was expecting to go down there and spend all day uh, in and out in 30 minutes. I mean, you have to bring your old driver's license, obviously. You have to bring a birth certificate, social security card, and I think you need 2 pieces of mail from where you are presently living in Florida to get your Florida driver's license. The cost of that was it was $48. $48. I'll pay that all day long to not have to deal with up there. I mean, $48 plus 6% sales tax, and if you use your debit card or credit card, they charge you 2%. Who cares? gladly do it. But that's for a regular driver's license. If you are a CDL, commercial driver, the cost for that is $75. And there's also sale tax on that. When I went for my regular driver's license, all I had to do was do an eye exam, and that was it. I don't know about CDLs. You're gonna have to do your homework. You may have to take a test. I really don't know, but it was an incredible experience, and my hat off to the men and women that work in the motor vehicle department here in Florida. They're incredible. Sales tax. I don't know about where you live, but again, going back to the area that I lived in Connecticut, you not only had to pay sales tax when you bought the car, but you had to pay taxes every 6 months, of property tax. It was crazy. I mean, when I left there, I had three vehicles. I used to have to pay $500 or $600 every 6 months just to have my car. And even if they're paid off, it doesn't matter. It's ridiculous. So with me moving here, that is a savings of $1,000 a year at least. You pay the sales tax once, and that's it. You just have your regular registration when it renews, and it's a different ball game. The only problem with car stuff is the car insurance. And that's where the kind of offset is. Because of all the hurricanes that Florida has had, they've got a lot of property damage. And insurance companies are not stupid. They want to make their money back. And boy, are they making their money back. What I would pay, I'm going to say that it's probably a 30% difference. Don't quote me on that, but it's about a 30% difference. So, you got the good part where it's cheap to register your vehicle and you don't have to pay all this taxes every 6 months or whatever, but the car insurance kind of makes up for it. Property tax on your home, I believe, is very reasonable. According to the Florida website, and depends on the state, the local municipalities, it's like 0.07% of the value. Presently, Governor DeSantis is trying to eliminate property tax, especially for people who are retired. I mean, it should be that way. Why did you have to, I could see paying taxes while you're young and you're working, but why do you still have to pay for a house? Let's say it's paid off. Why do you still have to pay taxes on it? I mean, that would be golden if he can get that done. I mean, I know, I believe President Trump was trying to do that as well, but we'll see how that goes. So it's not very expensive for property taxes, and yes, you got to pay that every year. As far as schools go, if you're a young couple and you're bringing your kids here, I have heard nightmare stories about the school system here. Matter of fact, my future ex-wife um, was, she said, Florida's bad, this and that, especially with children with autism and stuff like that, special needs. I'm going to say bullshit. I mean, as I said, my girlfriend's nephew's wife is a teacher. I've had many conversations with her, and it's not bad here. It is incredible. The school system's incredible. The teachers are incredible. I don't think they get paid enough, but it's a good school system. They also have very good private schools if you want to do that. If you're into, doing the private school thing. So, all right, this is another one to consider if you're a gun owner. Florida is a very gun-friendly state. As of 2025, I believe it was in September, the Supreme Court allowed them to, make it so that you don't need to carry a permit. Became a permitless state, though they still do have a what they call concealed weapon or firearm license. Now, you don't have to get it. You can open carry, concealed carry. If you get pulled over for a cop, just as long as you're not an asshole, excuse my French, They're not going to bother you about it. You still got to let them know, hey, I got a firearm in the car. But if you don't act like a jerk, it's fine. And the same thing when you're walking in public. The good part about having a permit here in Florida is that you get the opportunity to go to 37 different states, I believe, where it's reciprocal. You can bring your pistols there or firearms or whatever. That's the good part of that. And the other good part about it is the state of Florida has a 3-day wait period before you can get your firearm. Like you go to the store and want to buy it, you got to wait 3 days. What I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, if you have a permit, a concealed carry permit, I guess they call it CWL, you don't have to wait the 3 days. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, that's a benefit, then that's great. Um, with the guns, let's talk about the crime. Crime in Florida, how can I put this nicely? Crime is crime. It doesn't matter where you go, there's always crime. There's some areas that are worse than others. I've heard of cars being broken in, petty robberies and stuff like that. But the difference is here in Florida, we have the stand your ground law, where a lot of states up north, you can't do that. So, and the crazy part too is like if you're a gun owner, the police encourage you to use your weapon to defend yourself. So, I'm just saying. Politics. I'm not going there with you guys. Florida is a very friendly state to both um, Democrats and Republicans. I don't think they really give a shit who you are or what you are. I know of a lot of gay couples. I don't have a problem. And then I've had gay couples I've talked to that I can't stay in the state because whatever. I'm not getting involved in that part, but from what I could see, and a lot of people I've talked to, it's a very friendly state. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, it doesn't matter, despite what anybody tells you. Um, that's my take on there. So now, here's my take on the good stuff. This is the stuff that I love, and this is my closing, whatever you want to call it. There are so many places to go. I'm in Clearwater. I mean, there's beaches. If you like nightlife, it's like all over the place. The places that you can go to, there's really nice bars, and then there's dive bars. There's excellent restaurants, and then there's the kind of bar restaurant. I mean, if that's what you like, it's there. There's these open markets. They close off an entire block. The first Friday of every month you go here, and the second Friday you go there. They have vegetables. They have all kinds of. I mean, there's so many things to do in this area. If you live farther in, I mean, Disney is 2.5 hours away from me. You go to Disneyland. Like I said, this is like being on vacation. It's an awesome place. Um, you like to play golf? There's a freaking golf course like every freaking block. I'm exaggerating, but they're everywhere. My son-in-law plays golf, and I know he'd love to be down here. Just golf is like everywhere. It's like they should call Florida the golf state. Um, there's hockey. Um, there's tons of. They have an arena down here in Tampa. There's hockey games. There's basketball games. I don't remember exactly the Florida state names because I'm not into sports. But if you're into that stuff, they got it, and it's very reasonable to get into these games. It's incredible. So my final thought is basically, this is not for everybody. I believe Florida is more geared toward the older, retired people. And you need to understand that it is expensive. But the value that you're going to what you're going to place your value on is what your needs are, what you want to do. You have to make the decision. That's why I'm giving you this information. I don't have every bit of information. I can't tell you how many thousands of miles there are beaches, and I can't tell you this, and I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that there's a lot of good stuff here in Florida, and there's a lot of growth going on. There's a lot of homes being built. I was just blown away about how much area in this state is not developed, and they're building like crazy because people want to come here. So I would encourage you to take a ride down here, spend 3, 4 days a week down here, whether it's here in Clearwater or on the other coast. Um, just check it out, and that's gonna help you make up your mind. I'm not saying a week is gonna do it, but things like this, like you watching this video and you actually going there. And another thing I have too is just came up with this idea. I'm thinking about doing it. If you have a place in Florida that you're interested in, and let's say you can't make it down here, and you want somebody to go there and videotape the area, I can do that. My prices are reasonable. I have a fee schedule I can send to you if you send me a message. I'll gladly do it for you. I'm going to stick to the Clearwater, Pinellas County, Tarpon, Tampa Bay, probably a little farther out. But I can go to wherever you want, and if you want me to scan the area, drive the neighborhood, video the streets, or video the businesses around there, I gladly do it. And I'm retired. Something for me to do. And my fees will be very reasonable. So if you want to utilize that service, I'm available. Just like I said, message me. I know that this is not my usual forte on videos, but I thought it was, I've gotten a lot of people ask me, what do you think of Florida? And I thought it'd be a good idea to put something together for you guys. And I'm just telling you, I love it here. And if you do decide to come here, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So I wish you luck. I thank you for checking this out. If you're here to the end, can you do me a favor? Can you like, share, and subscribe? Kind of helps me to continue doing this thing. I mean, this is a little project I'm doing. Keeps me going. I love doing it. So I'll see you on the next video. And again, thank you.